people, former Yugoslavia here. As a disclaimer, I'd like to specify that I am a mentally stable citizen of society who absolutely does not condone illegal acts of shoplifting, battering on unsuspecting citizens, or distributing highly illicit substances, and that I am to be trusted with a loaded firearm. With that out the way, I welcome you to my Furry Protogen 2, to answer the question, were 2 nukes really enough? The game, like me, is entirely a work of fiction where the gameplay is clicking, reading, and sometimes deciding which detergent you should buy, which you later on realize actually has no relevance to the plot. You, being the protagonist, you get to choose your name. I personally went with Zabubu. The story follows Sambu with his Dami Mali Protogen Juno on the adventure of trying to find a working McDonald's ice cream machine in the state of California. Jokes aside, the game follows up with the first game. To spare you from a panic attack trying to find the review on the first game on my channel, I didn't make one. The reason? Because I don't want to get flashbang by the pure sadness and depression of the game's plot like it did last time I played it. Now, back to the story. After the first game's sad ending, the sequel follows up 2 years later in the darkness of space in an AI-generated spaceship. Your mission is to find the person behind the virus that destroyed your planet and put a stop to this all. At this point, you might be asking, David, are you okay? No, I'm currently being held hostage in my gym-addicted friend's basement. But that's not important right now. The story of the second game, in all honesty, isn't as beautiful and sad as the first one, which isn't so bad as I weep genuine tears after spending roughly €4 on 6 hours of reading and occasionally deciding whether I want to use a rope. Not to cosplay as a hanging fan, something entirely else. The only other decision you make is after meeting a fellow named Lance, who really likes to raise me up, even though I'm as straight as the pole your mom dances on. When you need to convince him whether to leave his planet in search of a partner in space and explore other planets that are warm, unlike his planet, that's colder than the body I hid inside a refrigeration unit in the back of a Tesco truck. Or convince him that he shouldn't leave his planet and family because you never know when you'll see them ever again. Me, apparently never seen a World War II movie, where the outcome is that most of the soldiers who enlisted never got to see their families ever again. I decided to take him in. I feel like I should talk more about the characters as to lengthen the video runtime because I enjoy pain and suffering. The only 2 new characters that deserve any screen time are Lance, a furry you meet on a frozen planet called Wire, who wants to leave after missing his chance 5 years earlier, Xena, Juno's sister, who helps Juno by making her a new set of armor and a sword that we see for 1 frame before we ultimately never see it ever again. Xena, like Juno, I'd gladly just let cave in my skull with a frying pan. Why? I'm a simple man. I get the chance to go out in an honorable way, and I take it without hesitation. By this point, you might be asking, David, are you a furry? The answer to that is simple, as I regularly use deodorant, which is something only people who want to smell nice use. No offense meant towards furries, but it's true, that's besides the point. Sambubu and his trusty companion continue exploring planets and saving them from destruction by disabling the devices planted on these planets with the intent to suck up energy from all living plants and beings on that planet, eventually destroying them like my brother did to his hamster by throwing him against the floor like a bouncy ball when he was a kid. If you're watching this, please don't kill me. Of course, this wouldn't be a visual novel if it wasn't for some romance, which is entirely optional that I didn't even think of downloading when getting the game. One of the biggest flaws of the first game in my opinion was the romantic scenes. I admit I may have played the first game for that reason, but after playing halfway through the game, I realized that reading hasn't been more fun before. The story is built up like a beautiful house of cards. The first romantic scene is the blow of wind that collapses the house of cards like my great-grandpa did after I deliberately pushed him down the stairs. Sambubu and his wife who passed 2 uninhabited planets, inhabited planets with intelligent life, on the back of a Denny's after 9 PM. The 2 characters eventually get to a planet whose name I couldn't pronounce, even if he pointed a gun to my head. It's a vast and mostly dead planet with nothing but sand for kilometers on end. After eventually stumbling upon a cactus, Sambubu remembers the acts of violence he witnessed on the Austro-Slovak border in the 1980s when he was in service, and somehow manages to get a mental breakdown over a cactus, therefore upsetting his companion and making her run away. At that moment, I felt the first cracks of emotions, evoking me to sit up straight in my chair for a second, and then lounging over once again like the lazy fuck that I am. After following Juno to a place literally thriving with cactuses, the 2 characters settle things and continue their mission. They deactivate the devices on this planet, but before they can deactivate the 4th and last device, they get greeted in a calm and kind manner by Homelander himself, as Juno gets dissed and slowly but surely get thrown against a boulder at the speed of 2 frames per second. Thankfully, Homelander being the soy-drinking American patriot he is, he lets Juno and Sambubu live and leave for the price of all the legally borrowed devices they collected throughout their adventure. After 2 weeks of recovery, Juno can finally get up on her own and, as you guessed it, have some private time with Sambubu. which after some people gets to witness his previously destroyed planet through a telescope approximately a few years in the past. How does that work? I haven't got the slightest of clues. But hey, if the government told you there are mutated Chinese children working on your Juno body pillow you ordered getting paid 2 Dogecoin and a half-eaten piece of bread, plotting to overthrow the Chinese communist dictatorship and eventually destroy the entirety of the United States of America, you probably would be doing the same thing as me. Playing a game that ultimately ruins my chances of getting a girlfriend, meanwhile listening to Kanye West while the Chinese factory children plan to destroy the planet. With that out of the way, after witnessing his planet, Sambu decides to continue fighting for the glory of his father and mother and decides to, well, ending on a cliffhanger, the game managed to pull me in for the plot and music. Although not as story rich as the first one, a lot of questions have been answered, and we got a somewhat less depressing conclusion that will make me beg for a continuation as compared to the first game. As disclaimer, all jokes I said were entirely satire and only made to make you chuckle. Or even better, concerned for my mental well-being, but worry not. I am absolutely okay. There's definitely not a fully loaded Colt 1911 pointed at my head by my brother after what I said earlier about that hamster. So in conclusion, the game is good, worth the money and the time spent on it. And if you wish to enjoy this by yourself, I encourage you to do so. If not for the story, at least for the melons. I give the game a rating of 9.5 Juno plushies out of 10 stolen Tesco Pringles cans. I'd like to thank my will to live for making this video possible to annoy my classmates, friends, and 14-year-old edgy kids. If you wish to see me suffer more and make more reviews for games like this or anything else, then I encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe to make me suffer more and make me write yet another paragraph for a game review that's going to manifest at least 2 views per hour. Have a good one and goodbye. I'd like to thank my I'd like to thank my will to live for making this video possible to annoy my class. Fucking hell, can I just speak normally for once?
David, are you okay? David, are you a furry?
David, are you okay? Are you a furry? Gross ass motherfucker.